talk a little bit about being afraid or being scared. Have you ever been afraid or scared? Well, I have a story about a little fox, like this little fox, and he was afraid, and he had a little friend who was a tiny little seed. Can you see that little seed? And this little seed was also very afraid. I mean, look how tiny that is. Can you imagine being this tiny in this big old world? No wonder he was afraid. So here's the story of the little fox and the little seed. This story is called It Will Be Okay by Lisa Turkhurst, illustrated by Natalia Moore. Trusting God through fear and change. In a dusty shed on a rickety shelf, hidden in a cozy packet, lived a tiny seed. Day after day, little seed watched as the farmer came into the shed. The farmer's strong hand would reach into the packet and he would say, "I have a good plan for you," each time he selected a seed. Little seed knew the farmer was good and kind, but he did not want to leave his home. Little seed liked living inside the cozy packet on the rickety shelf in the farmer's dusty shed. He did not want to go. There's the little seed up there. And there's the farmer. My dog Rigby wants to listen to the story too, apparently. In the nearby woods, under the big tall trees, in a comfy den, lived a playful fox. Little Fox raced around the tree trunks in the woods. "Yippee!" he shouted with glee. There's the little fox hanging upside down in a tree. Look at that. But then a long black shadow scared him, and he hurried to hide in his den. He was scared of the dark shadows and howling winds and rain and most everything. Little Fox liked his comfy den under the big tall trees in the nearby woods. He did not like being afraid, and neither does Rigby. She doesn't like being afraid either. I think this is kind of scaring her a little bit. One particularly dark night, a storm rumbled into the forest. Thunder boomed, lightning flashed, rain poured into the little fox's den. "Oh no!" Little Fox cried as he scurried through the woods trying to find somewhere safe and dry and not scary. He barreled inside the farmer's dusty shed, bumped into the rickety shelf, and knocked over the cozy seed packet. Little Seed rolled out onto the floor. Oh my goodness. I think Rigby's getting scared just like Little Fox is. It's okay, Rigby. Let's see what happens next. Don't worry, puppy. Yeah, thanks, Rigby. That helps a lot. A surprised little fox found himself standing nose to nose with a very unhappy little seed. "I am Little Fox, and I live in the den under the big tall trees in the nearby woods," he exclaimed. "I love to play in the woods, but I'm afraid of the dark shadows and the howling winds," he said. "There are no winds or shadows in your shed. Can I live here with you? Will you be my friend?" Little Seed said, "Do you see a pillow? Do you see a bed? Do you see a place to lay your wet head? No, you don't, because this safe place is the farmer's shed." But the little seed thought of how safe and warm it was inside the cozy packet on the rickety shelf in the farmer's dusty shed. He thought it might be quite nice to have a friend. There's little fox. Little fox doesn't look so little next to the little seed. It's okay, Rigby. Everything's gonna be okay. Yes. Little fox and little seed became the best of friends. Look at them laughing together. Little seed told silly stories and little fox made funny faces. Each day when the farmer came into the shed, little fox hid away. But the farmer was good and the farmer was kind, and the farmer was always watching over them, even when they didn't know it. Does the farmer remind you of anybody? One morning, the farmer came into the shed as he had on many days. "Little seed," he said as he placed him in his hand, "I have a wonderful plan for you. I have waited for just the right time, and today is the day." "Oh no, please no. I don't want to go," thought the little seed. The little seed looks very scared. The farmer went outside and knelt down. He pushed the little seed under the ground, into the dirt, and down to a deep, dark, messy place. "Now, little seed, this is going to be different, and it might seem a little scary, but it will be okay. You can trust me," said the farmer. Little seed wished he were inside the cozy packet on the rickety shelf in the farmer's dusty shed. "I want to trust even when I can't see, but how in the world is this going to be good for me?" The little seed was a little bit scared. He didn't want to be planted in the ground. "Little seed, come back," cried little fox when he saw the farmer take away his friend. "Where are you, little seed?" He looked in the front of the shed and behind the shed, but little seed was not there. He looked on top of the tractor and under the tractor. Little seed was not there either. He looked under the duck's wings and inside the dog's floppy ears. He looked in the horse's stall, the pig's pen, and even in the farmer's boot, but little seed could not be found anywhere. He's looking all over the place. Now little fox was really worried. "Little seed," he shouted, I'm here, way down in the dirt. I'm scared and I'm lonely, but I'm not hurt," came little seed's muffled voice right below him. Little fox thought hard for something to say or something to do that would help his friend not be scared, but he was afraid too. It's different and scary to be someplace new, but it will be okay, little seed. Little seed was not so sure, and neither was little fox. But the farmer was good and the farmer was kind, and the farmer was always watching over them, even when they didn't know it. Does the farmer remind you of anyone yet? What do you think? Little fox stayed by little seed night after night and day after day. He was scared and lonely too. But after a while, little fox started to see how the farmer took care of them. Fresh water for little seed, sweet berries for little fox. He wasn't even quite so afraid when he saw the dark shadows or heard the howling wind. Little Fox was starting to believe that the farmer was good and the farmer was kind. "My friend," whispered a sleepy little fox to Little Seed, "go to sleep. It will be okay." See, the little fox is sleeping right next to where the seed is planted in the ground. Little Seed sat in the dark and messy place for what seemed like a very long time. But one spring morning, Little Seed felt a mysterious stirring. He looked down and discovered he was no longer a little seed. He was becoming something brand new, something wonderful. He pushed up through the dark, out of the dirt, and right through the ground. And there, looking sleepy-eyed and surprised, was his friend, Little Fox. Look at that! Little Seed grew into a little plant. Little Fox looked down and saw a beautiful green sprout. "My friend!" they each exclaimed with glee. They were once again nose to nose, and Little Seed told silly stories, and Little Fox made funny faces. After many days of fun, Little Seed said, "Little Fox, look up and see. It's hard to believe what's become of me. From the messy, dark place I grew and grew. From a seed to a tree, only the farmer knew. Together they made it through the dark and scary time, and together they each learned that farmer was good and the farmer was kind, and the farmer was always watching over them, even in dark, messy places." Little Seed was never supposed to be just a seed in a seed packet, and Little Fox was not supposed to be afraid and alone. The seasons came and the seasons went. Little Seed grew into a big, strong tree, and Little Fox raced around his tree trunk, and sometimes Little Fox laid in the tall, cool grass near Little Seed. And the breeze tickled his nose, and the sun warmed his belly, and the good and kind farmer was always watching over them. Little Seed liked things to stay the way they were. Little Fox was sometimes afraid. But just as they learned to trust the farmer, we can learn to trust God. We do not need to fear. He has a wonderful plan. God loves you, and He is kind. And in the end, it really will be okay. Trust this truth in the tough things you face, confusing times in the messy, hard place. God loves you, and He is kind. Remember this always in your heart and in your mind. The end. Today we're going to be making some slime. And I don't know why, but slime is really fun. So today we're going to be making a special slime with sugar-free Jello. And I have a couple students that are going to help me make this slime. So come on in, students. So what you will need for this slime is sugar-free Jello, some cornstarch, and water. And I think that regular Jello works okay, but sugar-free Jello is less sticky, so we'll see how this goes. So what color Jello should we use? We have red and orange. What do you think?
Red.
Okay.
Orange.
We're going with red. Okay, so go ahead and open that up. Brody, you go ahead and dump in the cornstarch. All of it.
Dump it in.
Yep. Okay, and we need a spoon. We need a spoon out of the So, Rusty is going to stir, and Brody is going to pour the water in slowly. So, you just kind of add the water as needed. And we used a half a cup of cornstarch. So we just pour a little bit in there.
Pour all of it in?
Oh no, we don't necessarily need to put all of it. We're gonna see how much we think we need as we go. So keep pouring a little more.
All right, let's see. What else could we do while we're sitting here together for a little bit? Let's see. I know. Let's do. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart, I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart today. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart. I've got the love of Jesus down in my heart. Down in my heart, down in my heart, I've got the love of Jesus down in my heart. Down in my heart today, and I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart, and I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart. I've got the peace that passes understanding down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I've got the peace that passes understanding down in my heart. Down in my heart today. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart. That's where it gets tricky. I've got the wonderful love of my blessed Redeemer deep down in the depths of my heart. Down in the depths of my heart. Down in the depths of my heart. I've got the wonderful love of my blessed Redeemer deep down in the depths of my heart. Down in the depths of my heart today. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart, and I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart. Hey, that's pretty good. I hope that you guys still remembered all that stuff. All right, let's do one silly one where we go really fast, because that's one of the things that I miss about doing with you guys. But I'm going to stay seated, so I'm not going to jump around all over the place, because you can't see it from the rest of the camera, but the rest of this room that we're in is very messy. So if I got up and jumped around, you would see how messy it was, and I don't want you to see that part. So we're going to just keep it right here. So I'm going to stay right here. So we're going to talk about the Sea of Galilee. But you guys got to do all the stuff with me, all right? Here we go. There's a sea, there's a sea, there's a Sea of Galilee, and there's a boat in the Sea of Galilee. There's a boat in the Sea of Galilee. There's a boat. There's a boat, there's a boat in the Sea of Galilee, and there are men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are men, there are men, there are men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee, and there are hands on the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are hands on the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are hands, there are hands, there are hands on the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. Remember what comes next? What do they have in their hands? And there are nets in the hands of the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are nets in the hands of the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are nets, there are nets, There are nets in the hands of the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. Okay, what comes next? What is in the nets? That's right, fish. See your fish. And there are fish in the nets of the hands of the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are fish in the nets of the hands of the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are fish, there are fish, there are fish in the nets of the hands of the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. All right, what do the fish use to breathe underwater? Do you remember that part? Yeah, they got their gills right here. They got their gills. Okay, you ready? And there are gills on the fish in the nets of the hands of the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are gills on the fish in the nets of the hands of the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are gills, there are gills. There are gills in the fish of the nets of the hands of the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. All right, we got through it, but I think we can go faster. So you ready? And there are gills in the fish of the nets of the hands of the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are gills in the fish of the nets of the hands of the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are gills, there are gills. There are gills in the fish of the nets of the hands of the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. All right, can we do a little bit faster? All right, here we go. And there are gills in the fish of the nets of the hands of the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are gills in the fish of the nets of the hands of the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are gills, there are gills. There are gills in the fish of the nets of the hands of the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. All right. Here we go. All right, I can hear you. I can hear you all the way through the phone and your computer all the way back over here. I can hear you. So let's see if we can do it really, really fast this time. Okay? Okay, don't start without me. Here we go. And there are... Don't start yet. Gills in the fish and nets, the hands of man in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are gills in the fish and nets, the hands of man in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are gills, there are gills, there are gills in the fish and nets, the hands of man in the boat in the Sea of Galilee.
Our memory verse today comes from 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. For the Spirit of God does not make us fearful, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. So let's try that one more time. For the Spirit of God does not make us fearful, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline.
Hey kids, thanks for joining us for Bible Blast. We hope you had a blast.